Good afternoon and welcome to the World Under-24 Ultimate Championships. We apologise for the delay in the start of this stream. There was an incredible Universe Point match before this between Japan and Canada in the women's division. But here we have Germany and Italy, a clash of the European Titans. And I throw now to Joy Lee and Cole Fink in the booth for the call.
Thank you very much, Max. And we're ready in time for this first pool. Germany and Italy in the power pools of the men's divisions. Under-24 World Ultimate Championships. These two teams have progressed through the general pool play and are facing up now. Italy pulling to Germany, right to left across your screen.
And Joy, there's a bit of wind effect here, which we saw in the previous game as well between Japan and Canada in the women's division. The wind's going left to right on our screens. And it's not strong, but it's quite blustery. And a lot of downfield shots have sailed too far.
Long
not that one,
though. Malta Spanuth, the first goal of this match. And what a sweet long put that was. Germany on the board.
Fantastic start for the Germans, and they've looked quite clinical in their matches up to this point. So far, they've had wins against Australia and the Philippines, and they went down against Canada in their pool play game. They now find themselves in their first power pool matchup against the Italians. And I think it's fair to say that Germany and Italy are certainly challenging Great Britain for the mantle of the strongest of the European teams here at this event, Joy.
Absolutely right, and it's a very interesting power pool that these two teams have gone into. Along with GB and the USA, that forms the power pool of 4 teams in this next stage. Italy, 15-3 over Chinese Taipei, 15-7 over Austria, and 14-13, a very close victory as well over Japan. So some excellent results for both these teams. It's a tantalizing matchup. 2 tall teams as well, who come out for the second point.
Absolutely. Here we go, the Italians for their first offensive look. And they set up in a pretty conventional horizontal stack.
Germany with a zone defense, spread out. Italy moving it sideways for now. Look pretty calm in this wind. Floaty one, but lots of time for that.
Yeah, the wind is very blustery. Germans now sagging off into a bit of a cup around the disc here. But it's, oh, and we've got a drop. That's the first turnover of the match. We had Bruno Mine handling, and his pass had a little too much pace on it.
Germany now to Schall. Ambitious long swing.
Oh! Phenomenal bid.
Straight away, Italy hits the end zone.
Well, you can see the wind really affecting the movement of the disc here. Germany missing what was really a regulation swing pass. And then the Italians just sending too much power into that downfield strike. The tailwind carrying it out the back of the end zone, Joy.
Spot on, Cole. Michele Angela just could not reel that one in. But I think both of these teams with their height and their skills, athleticism, will see quite a few of those long shots. It will be about balancing the calm, decisive, disciplined play, using shorter passes and taking that long shot opportunity when it arises.
Fantastic bid there.
Huge put there from the Germans, and now it's time.
He's brought it in.
Time for Schall. Usually handling, we see him behind the disc a lot. He's struck long, and he's got the goal.
Fantastic effort from the Germans, and they're up 2-0. They take a decisive early break here, and given the conditions, the direction of the wind, that could prove to be almost a double break in the sense, because the Italians now, with all the work ahead of them, they've got to move the disc upwind for their next offensive point. So Italy has some fantastic junior development underway at the moment, and I think that their junior program centered around the city of Bologna at the moment. So not just the delicious spaghetti bolognese coming from Bologna, also an incredible array of talented athletes. They have over 1,000 kids in a junior program in Bologna, and they have a league system there with 4,000 participants. So no surprise, given those sorts of numbers, to see the Italians rapidly climbing the ranks here at international stage.
That's incredible, Cole. Listen to those numbers. These two teams might be quite familiar with each other. Back in May, they played a test match. These two teams, Germany and Italy, and of course in the European scene, GB, Italy, Austria, Switzerland. these teams regularly play against each other, so they'd be familiar with the personnel and the tactics of the opposition.
Bruno Mine is their central handler, supported by Arturo Laffi. And that is a great look through the cup from Laffi. The Italians confidently moving the disc in what are very trying, windy conditions. Gasparini moving the disc to the middle, back to Laffi. Gasparini again.
Low one there. Oh, I wonder if the German defender there, David Metzger, got a bit of a hand on that. Was that just a low throw? Too low, forced that way by the pressure of the defender and perhaps a bit by the wind as well. Italy now. Oh, sorry. Germany on offense. Set up quite short, keeping that deep space free. Little short one stuck off. And a big hug! A big hug from Lars Schmidt, looking for his twin.
Oh,
Jan
the
Schmidt
wind
peeling right.
Wow, the wind made that truly uncatchable. It looked great out of the hand. Set out flat and hard, but the wind got under the deck of the disc there and just carried it away. So Italy with another opportunity to try to reset their offense and move it up against the wind, which temporarily, it seems, has died down quite a lot.
It's quite blustery, yeah. Often quite strong, but it can die down in odd moments and then pick up again right when it's inconvenient for the thrower or receiver. We found that numerous times here during games here at Perth, Western Australia.
So the Italians having to work their way through this German zone.
Bit of give-go there.
Mine certainly working the disc fabulously. Through to Laffi again. Those two are the core handlers here for this team. Here we've got Semprini Cesari. I actually coach his sister for a club team back in Melbourne. Chini now. Chini's going to milk that to the end zone, and there's the first score for the Italians. That's good team play. They're moving the disc very quickly, usually releasing before the stall counts even started, which is what they need to do to break through that German zone. And now they've got the opportunity to try to effect a defensive block against the Germans as they come upwind.
That was slick offense from the Italians. The Germans there, due to the extremely quick movement of those Italians, always lagging one step behind. As Cole said, not even waiting for a stall count from the defenders, Italy. For those new to Ultimate, throwers have up to 10 seconds to release the disc. Of the of 10, one must have released the disc. If not, that's a stall out turnover. So in that case, we didn't see the 10 seconds required at all. Number 35 there from Italy with the goal, Guglielmo Chini. So that makes it 3-1. 2-1, Germany, Italy. So early stage of this match. Let's go down to Max with a bit of insight on the sideline.
Thanks, Joy. It'll come as no surprise to anyone that this Italian team are an emotional team riding the wave of their passion to success and to defeat when it leads that way. After the first couple of points that Germany rattled off, you could see that they were visibly frustrated on the sidelines. But the remarkable change after they opened their account and put one on the scoreboard was incredible. Suddenly the shoulders were back, they were standing a little bit straighter, and they were getting around each other just a little bit more. We'll see if they can maintain that positive mindset and attitude towards the rest of this game and see if it can bring them some success.
So Italy forming an interesting, what I describe as a junk defense here. It is a kind of a zone, but it's not a cup like you would often see. They have one person responsible for marking the disc and a couple of others causing chaos in front of the disc, trying to shut down all those different throwing lanes.
Germany looking very comfortable with this at the time. Right now, they're veterans of different zone defense looks themselves, so I'm sure they've practiced many such formations, and of course have played Italy a number of times. So at the moment, though, being forced a little bit backwards, not making much ground, but they're still keeping that deep space open so that when the long shot comes, they can take it immediately.
One thing that this Italian zone isn't really doing is pressuring every German throw. So the Germans aren't making any progress downfield, but the Italians are letting them get relatively easy resets. And while I say that, that reset throw, which was relatively unpressured, has had the wind catch it And it's sailed out of play, so the Italians are going to have a look at their own end zone, starting from the cone. Luca Tognetti is the one on stage. He clears out, moves instead to Simonazzi. Simonazzi looking for an open option, and that is a score. Simonazzi to Massimo Vagliavello.
2 in a row for Italy there. That defense seemed to temporarily stifle some of the German options. We didn't see one long cut. The Germans were calm, but pressure on on most of those throws led to the error, and an easy punched-in goal for Italy. 2-2.
Absolutely, Joy. And what we've seen there again is that a break can often turn into 2 quick breaks because the wind is consistently forcing left to right on our screens. And the Germans affected a break early, and that allowed them to take 2 in a row. And then the Italians, having managed to work it upwind, have affected 2 in a row of their own. And we're back on serve. The Italians will be pulling into the wind. The German offense will be working downwind. Though, as we've said multiple times, the conditions here are extremely blustery. As we hear the whistle from Ruben Berg. Ruben, down there on the sideline as the chief game advisor for this game.
Hi, Kyle. How are you?
What have you noticed so far at ground level, Ruben?
It's a very intense game. Everyone's going very hard, but they're managing so far, I think, to keep the body contact to a minimum. And we hope that continues for the rest of the game.
Awesome. Thanks, Ruben. Yeah, with men's teams often, and these 2 teams in particular, they're 2 very tall teams. Of course, the field is exactly the same size no matter what the division here, men's, women's, and mixed. Suddenly it seems more about opening up spaces for these big bodies in order to make the offense function correctly.
So just quick rule clarification here. The disc landed on the line. The Italian player looked temporarily confused as to whether that meant a brick or whether it should be taken from the sideline. The sideline is out of bounds. So correctly taken from the brick.
Vollerberger with a disc. Andreas Vollerberger again. These 2 guys are siblings. In fact, they're twins. Obviously working together well there, the handler connection. Swings it over. Centers the disc once again. Patience there. Andreas.
The Italians still running this junky cup look in front of the disc. So they've got 3 around the handler set, 3 through the midfield, and 1 player guarding deep. So a pretty traditional zone. And it looks to me that they're forcing to our commentary side. But they're letting that reset out relatively easily. So the Germans not making any progress, but able to retain possession of the disc without too much trouble.
Höneschmeier there. Slightly upwind throw there. Punctuated through the middle there, Germany. They suddenly find a bit of space. Now's the time to take advantage, and they do that with a couple of quick little passes. Höneschmeier.
The Italians now collapsing to a match defense. 1-on-1.
Vollerberger with the disc. Germany keeping discipline, keeping those side areas free until now.
Oh,
yep.
Fantastic grab.
That's Vollerberger with the goal. We saw him do his work behind the disc as a handler, lots of throws and catches, and he suddenly makes his move. That's Martin Vollerberger there with the goal, number 44. And that's 3-2, Germany to Italy.
So pretty late in the stall count, I think, that throw, and he didn't have a viable dump. So he put a catchable pass forward into the end zone, and the Italians actually looked like they might have a number of players ready to pounce on it. However, the Germans capable of getting the better read and leaping to take that disc first. So we're still on serve. Both teams have taken a break away from the other. But 3-2 to the Germans, who began the game on offense. So certainly at this stage, looks like this competition could go either way.
A number of these players on both teams experienced in previous youth world events. Under 23 championships was in London a couple of years ago. A number of players on this German team were competing there. Italy now, spread out horizontal stack, quite a deep one. They are shooting downwind.
So Mine, quick fake, nice movement through to Angela.
Germans look to be mostly match D here. That's like a one-on-one defensive pressure. Oh, a low disc, nicely picked up.
Luca Contini does well to pick that one up. He's going to be easy to recognize throughout this game with his bright red hair. And we have a very deep shot put up and a wonderful grab. I believe that was Guglielmo Cini who has brought down the disc. He's a very tall target for the Italians, and we'd expect to see him striking deep to the end zone throughout this game. That's a wonderful connection. And they're on the board again. It's 3-3, Germany and Italy.
Lovely display of disc control there. It's so easy when you're throwing a disc and putting a bit of curve on that for the wind to just take it and for it to puff out of reach of your receiver. But there we saw he had it completely in his control. Enough revs on that disc to sit nicely, perfectly.
Absolutely, and a German defender right in the vicinity. But Bruno Mine with wonderful control of the disc, as you say, Joy. And he has rotated that just out of reach of the German defender and landed it right on top of Guglielmo Cini's head. And it's a score for the Italians. Now, if you're enjoying this matchup between the Italians and the Germans in the men's division, I would love to recommend that you take the time to catch the replay of the Japanese versus Canada matchup in the women's division. It's, without hyperbole, one of the most amazing games of Ultimate I've ever witnessed in person. It ended on Universe Point. I won't spoil the ending for you if you have not yet seen it, but I strongly recommend check out the Japan versus Canada women's matchup from day 3 at the World Under-24s Ultimate Championships. It is an absolute firecracker of a contest.
Definitely concur there, Cole. The last point in that match went for, I think, some 12 or 13 minutes, and there were so many twists and turns.
And layout blocks.
That match, yeah.
One of the greatest layout blocks to save the game that I've ever seen. It's truly a phenomenal matchup. Every fan of Ultimate needs to watch that game.
Andreas Vollerberger here. Now it's the Germans' turn to run their quite deep horizontal offense. Shorter passes here. Gert Schlosser.
The Italians just running a straight match D here, one-on-one. Every player accountable. Oh, fantastic run through.
Oh.
Number 18, that's Tobias Mine.
I think the Italian man had got his hand to it, but the German, it popped up, and the German player was able to, and a high one. Perhaps later in the store count. Oh, what a grab!
I think that was a high stall panic huck, and it's been brought down expertly by Hartmann. Phenomenal grab.
What's it called? Huh?
There's some sort of stoppage here. Might be able to hear the tones of your game advisors, but players are responsible for making their own decisions here. Hartmann with the disc. Oh! Low one.
Wow, very low. I almost thought that hit the ground, actually.
Oh, will that make it? Oh! It was in the air for a while, and that German player got a hand to it, but just spilled out. What an incredible grab there from Marcel Hartmann. Used his body to protect the space of that disc and reach out with that really long arm.
So the Italians now through Simonazzi. He has pumped it long. The German player seemingly in front and easily done by Hartmann.
So Hartmann again. He's in this end zone, he's in the other end zone.
Indeed, he's everywhere at the moment at this point, Hartmann. So the Germans back on O, and the Italians doing everything they can.
No wonder Hartmann is everywhere. He's the captain of this German team, so he is playing out of his skin. He wants to show and lead his team from the front here.
So we saw the Italians respecting that deep threat from the Germans. 2 players following that German strike deep. It's quite a interesting contest to watch here tactically. Both teams trying a number of defensive looks.
Meyer ran long there, looked off. Vollerberger still here with the disc.
And there's a long shot up.
Punchmeyer there, running long. 1-on-1 in the end zone, and the...
Well defended by Filippo Simonazzi. So the Italians back on offense again. And we've got Luca Tognetti with the disc.
Nice little break there.
Oh, wonderful recovery by Tobias Mine. Another one of the Italians with a creative haircut, shall we say. Oh, phenomenal grab. Number 31, that's Luca Valentini. Beg your pardon, Massimo Vagliavello.
Spisso with the goal there. Smooth moves there from Italy.
Absolutely, a bit of a fumble on the first grab, but he's managed to recover the scraps and throw a blade over the top of the stack that gets through for a goal. And that, I believe, is a break by the Italians. And what a phenomenal catch there by Tobias Mine. And uncorked a massive upwind huck. And it was Massimo Vagliavello that has brought that disc down and thrown a crossfield pass to Gabriele Spisso for the goal. And the Italians now register their second break of the game. And they're in the lead, 4-3 over the German outfit.
Yeah, they have hit the front here with some really scrambly, athletic D, a couple of high blocks. Both of these teams are very tall, the Germans particularly so. And we saw that yesterday in their matchup against Australia, both athletic teams as well. But the Germans, to my mind at least, dominated the air. And that was one of the reasons why they came up with the goods. Let's cross to Max on the sideline for a bit of info.
Thanks, Joy. Speaking of the athleticism of this Italian team, I just had a quick chat with Coach Mastroianni, and he feels like the key focus for them this game and the key to their success will be intensity. They feel like they have an edge in their fitness and their conditioning over this German outfit, especially in these tough, hot, windy conditions. So look to see plenty more hard-running, high intensity from them.
Long pull there from Italy. Quite see if that was out on the full or not. No, it looks like he was walking it up to the front of the end zone, so that means that pull landed inbounds. Folleberger there, laying it off to his brother. Another Folleberger. Italy here with a kind of more zoney look to their defense. Germany, disciplined, looking for the open player. There are always gaps in any defense, well, particularly zone defense. You cannot take away everything as a defensive team, but it's all about priorities. As the offense, of course, it's about trying to punctuate that area and find the weakness in that defensive structure.
So the wind has died down a little at the moment, so the Italians have set up this zone, and you'd think if the German throwers feel like they've got some power, they might uncork something to the deep space, and they've managed to put that one through the cup. Can they get some quick movement?
Hartmann.
The Italians have collapsed to a match D now.
Oh, safe hands there. Hunschmeier. Stoppage.
There's a foul call. Looked like Michael Farina made himself into a backpack for a moment, perhaps. Let's have a...
Quickly resolved there.
Ruben Berg, our chief game advisor, is on the way out. Perhaps we'll be able to hear the discussion.
You don't understand me, or? Yeah. You said that you don't touch your arm, I think. You let on my right arm. I don't feel it. Secondo me ci sta a lasciarlo, eh?
Okay. Uncontested? Uncontested. All right. What's this? So on 0 on 1? 1?
You heard it there from Ruben. It is uncontested foul, so the disc is coming in on 1. These are decisions that the players would have made, and Ruben is simply amplifying those as a game advisor here. So Italy here, match defense. Folleberger, calm with the disc.
Hartmann's been in everything, Joy.
Absolutely.
Both defense and offense. It seems like every time we look up and see a German player directing traffic, it's Hartmann. He seems central to their success.
Absolutely. He's got fantastic timing as a cutter there, Hartmann, and seems to just pop up right exactly at the time when his teammates need the most. That's Marco Krause there.
Oh, fantastic defensive effort, but the German players managed to recover the disc and squeeze in a goal.
Torben Hunschmeier there with the goal for Germany. And interesting point there, I think, and I love the point that Max brought up on the sideline earlier. Intensity from the Italian team, that's what they're looking to. They're looking to their training to trust those experiences. And I'm sure both teams here would feel that they have some sort of edge on the other. It's about how those strengths can be exploited.
So interestingly enough, Joy, having watched both these teams in some of the pool play games, I would have described both of them in quite a similar fashion. Both young, tall, athletic, willing to take risks, willing to take deep shots, and like the unstoppable force meeting the immovable objects, it seems like they're now trying to deploy those same tools against each other. And it could simply be a contest decided by intensity, which team can deploy their tools 1 or 2% better than the other. The Germans have managed to hold that upwind point there, so it's 4-4. Italy now going to have to move their offense upwind, and the Germans will be hoping to get that break back, assisted by the 8th defender.
Pull there from Jonathan Schall. A few slapped hands between Italy and Germany on the sidelines. Really good will between these two teams, despite the competitive nature of this match.
Looks like a brick, so the Italian, oh no, looks like it's gone out of play over the sideline at about halfway. So the Italians electing to take some yards. Bruno Mine with the disc. And a quick move into the middle to Simone Gasparini. Here we have Semprini Cesari.
Elevating there.
Indeed, great grab from Bruno Mine. Nice inside look. Wow, that was a tight hole to put that disc through. Riccardo Zanni now with the disc.
If you saw Zanni hold both arms, fists high, that was the symbol for a pick call here in Ultimate. So it's a stoppage until players recover their positions, and then we can restart play. David Metzger on the mark there, marking the thrower. And Germany, match D, 1-on-1, near the end zone. Of course, Italy not far to move it in.
So Laffy with the disc. Crossfield pass is expertly scooped up. And then a push pass. Questionable decision on the goal line there.
Intercepted.
I think that Guglielmo Cini would like to have that second or two of his life back, Joy.
Absolutely. Those decisions made in the heat of the moment. Jan Schmidt there, stuck out a timely hand. Oh, and throw there looking for a long option straight away. David Metzger working hard, going down the line. Centers instead. Germany now, working hard. Legs pumping. This late afternoon sun. Delicious touch there. Floating, slicing, crossfield. Has that got enough sit on it? Oh! The German player brings that down.
Unbelievable catch! That was phenomenal.
Absolutely.
There's a discussion.
Yeah, there's a call on the field here, perhaps. Max, can you give us any info? No, looks like it's been called a goal.
I can give you some info on a game that's happening just behind us, though. Currently in the men's matchup between the USA and Great Britain, USA have jumped out to a 6-4 lead. It's the closest that I believe the USA men's team has been at any point this tournament. And in just a couple of seconds that I was over there watching, I saw half a dozen big boys hit the deck. It's clearly a matchup of incredible athleticism, and I'll be giving you updates on that for the rest of this game.
Thank you, Max. So 2 games happening on adjacent fields here, both in the power pool, in the same power pool, in fact. So I wonder how many of these guys will be glancing over their shoulders, checking in on the other match, ready for tomorrow's games. But
so you can see a little bit of footage from the USA-Great Britain match, and there is a big back grab, a signal of the type of intensity you can expect from that matchup. And the Ulti TV team doing a phenomenal job here, bringing us incredible footage of this World Under-24 Ultimate Championship event. So here we go now. The Germans breaking the Italians back again and taking the lead 5-4. The Italians now looking to hold serve as they come downfield, and we've got a stray disc on the field from an adjacent game. So Bruno Mine moving the disc wide to Simone Gasparini. He is their primary deep threat.
match D again from the Germans.
And the Italians through Zanni. typically able to get open unders. Unders is the term used to describe when a player comes back towards the disc. It's said to come underneath their defender to receive the disc. And there's a violation as a couple of players restarted play before the disc was tapped in.
You've got a great view here during that stoppage of the long line of players that Italy were forming. Oh! And full extension, diving defense, Marco Krause. What an effort.
That was an incredible display, not just of athleticism, but of reaction time. Krause with a phenomenal block.
Jonathan Schall here. David Metzger. Back to Schall. And to Metzger again. Germany looking to capitalize quickly here. Konrad Schlö. And David Metzger. Well,
Metzger, I think, received the disc every second throw from the moment they took possession there, and he has worked his way all the way across the field and into the end zone for another break in a row. Germany now in the lead, 6-4.
Some purposeful movement there from German handlers. And after an inspiring diving block like that, a team can find the next level of strength and purpose. And I think that's what we saw there from the Germans.
So, looks like the Italians have called a timeout. Here's a replay of that block by Marco Krause. He had less than a quarter of a second to react to that throw from Bruno Mine, and he has done a phenomenal job to gain possession for his team, and they've done him the good fortune of turning that possession into a score. It's always frustrating when you go to the effort to generate a block and then your team throws the disc away. So the Italians needing to find something different, I think. Joy, can you offer any of your immense strategic insight? What would you be doing if you were coaching the Italians at this point of the game?
Oh, well, Cole. You know, at this early point, I can't see anything too wrong that Italy or Germany, for that matter, are doing. It's still a very tight game. I think the strategic things that each team are going for are sound. They're just, you know, in that case, it was an exceptional defensive effort, something completely extraordinary. I think both these teams have really got to hustle whenever there is a turnover to make sure to put 100% back into the defensive effort. That's so hard to do when you're going so quickly sometimes here in Ultimate from offense to defense, a unique point of the sport perhaps. It really takes quite a mental shift.
So the Italians now have their work ahead of them because this next offensive point for them is upwind. And if Germany are able to take it away from them, as many of the upwind offensive points have been turned around and sent back the other way for a break, then that would put Italy in quite a precarious position indeed. They'd be down 7-4. So it's going to require both maximum effort and careful decision making, especially into this wind. If you show too much of the disc to the wind, you'll soon lose control of it, and that would let the Germans in with a look.
Let's cross to Max for a bit of a word from the sideline.
Thanks, Joy. Another report from around the grounds. We've got a number of men's crossover matches happening at the moment. In the Australia-Japan crossover match, they've just reached 6-all after Australia jumped out to a 6-4 lead. Japan clawing it back. Clearly that's a big game. Both teams working hard, and it's game on.
Thanks very much, Max. That's Schall hoiking it to the end zone. Oh! Through the hands of the Italian defender, Schmidt, to his brother, Lars Schmidt there, and back again to Jan Schmidt. There you see, on the German team here, we've got two sets of twins, and we can see the connection there. Jan and Lars Schmidt there. Jan Schmidt is the captain, and the goal there for Germany, 7-4.
So what we saw there, firstly the Italians with a relatively simple turnover, just to throw just outside the reach of the intended receiver, and then very close to a block on that downfield strike. I'm amazed he didn't get it. And what we see here is a quick defensive lapse from the Italians where they allow the open side cut. And Michael Angela, the spirit captain of the Italian team, would be wishing he could do that again did not want to let his player break to the open side, particularly into the end zone. So the Germans now in a very strong position, and they'll be looking to try and take this game to halftime as soon as they can, just 34 minutes into the contest.
Speaking of the Italian conditioning and training earlier, Cole, I wonder if what their training's entailed. One of the supporters here, HBF Stadium. All the volunteers have had free access to their gym and pool during their time here during the spare moment. Thanks very much, HBF.
And if you are sticking around for a little while after this event, HBF Stadium's got some great deals for players, support staff and spectators here at this event. And so if you want access to a gym for a week or two while you explore Perth, then get down to HBF Stadium and they would be only too happy to help you out. So Luca Tognetti makes his way to the brick mark, and the Italians set up in a very conventional horizontal stack with the Germans playing one-on-one match D against them. And there's a deep strike early. Down in the endo is Riccardo Zanni. And he is beaten to the disc by the German defender.
Jonathan Schall, too big, jumping too high there. What a read from Schall. Swings it wide.
So the Germans just a little bit more clinical with the disc in hand than the Italians. The Italians playing a fiery, exuberant form of offense, which can work well, but not when you lose control of the disc. And the Germans now just looking a little more patient, I think, Joy. Ready to wait for the right options to generate in front of them downfield.
Jan Schmidt wide open there and calls a timeout. And yeah, that's an extension of that calm approach there from the Germans. Get the D, start working it when they can't see an option, call a timeout. We saw both Schmidt brothers there working hard. Not sure if you saw all their movements on your screens, but while Jan Schmidt was getting in that open lane, Lars Schmidt was breaking long. Anyway, timeout from the Germans.
So I think the Italians now, really it's decision-making, option-taking, Joy, would be my advice to them. Can they calm down with the disc in hand? They have to continue to threaten, but it's time to treasure possession of the disc.
You're seeing a replay now of Schall's enormous high defensive catch in the opposing end zone. He actually jumped later than his opponent, but still managed to get up higher and get his hand on that disc first. And that was such an impressive defensive catch there.
So the players taking some quick refreshments. I'm personally dipping into an Emma & Tom's green power smoothie. I promised myself I was going to try all the Emma & Tom's smoothies, but my second one was a green power and I liked it so much I've stopped trying the others. I'm sure they're good. I'm sure the others are good, but green power's enough for me. Stick with what works. Stick with what you like.
May well be a philosophy for life, Cole. I'm not sure. The Germans are sticking with their approach here, and I think that at 7-4, it's working for them for now. We're about just over a third of the way through time-wise anyway in this match. Often in a game of Ultimate, in this tournament, it's 100 minutes long, there will be some ebbs and flows, so some change of tactics throughout a match. They are often needed. And Germany here, running with purpose towards the thrower. Jonathan Schall with the disc. He was the one responsible for that massive D.
There's a lot of air under that huck, Joy.
And
huge grab!
Stefan Kuhn brings that down. Michael Kraus with the disc. Not far here for the Germans. And floats it up. Who else? Lars Schmidt with the goal.
Two tall athletic teams, but seemingly at the moment, the Germans a little bit taller, a little bit more athletic. And they have now scored 4 points in a row to take an 8-4 lead into halftime here in Perth. And the last matchup of the day. And the Italians now really need to regroup. They've got 7 minutes at halftime to rest, recover, and have a chat, see what they can do as a team to work together to improve this situation, because nothing else changes.
Highlight here, huge pack grab from Kuhn. Laying it off calmly after that, didn't lose his head. And that takes the Germans, Lars Schmidt there with a goal to take them to half, 8-4. We'll run some, here we've got some highlights for you.
I think
no,
this is the
live action, rather.
Australia-Japan game. And just as we cross to him, it looks like there's a discussion. Looks like the Japanese have scored.
We'll get a score update for you guys as soon as we can from that match. Also, on an adjacent field, we've got USA GB. Fantastic.
So it looks like USA is up 8-4 over GB in that match.
We've got some highlights for you coming soon.
And welcome back. I'm here with Davide Mori, the coach of this Italian team. Davide, thanks for joining me. What happened in that first half? You came out strong and then they got 5 in a row.
The question is that we were in the focus to make a lot of these. We tried with some junkie and the junkie worked, but anyway, if you don't have a percentual between the 70 and the 90% in offense, it's really difficult to play against them. We know them really well. We went down with the percentual in offense. Now we ask to the player to take back the crowd and defend the point. A mistake can happen, but we have to protect the open side. They scored 3 times the open side.
So what are you going to change for this second half? You've got a few points to catch up.
Now first we have to score the 8-5 because it's 8-4. We know we have, I think, one of the top 6 defense of the World Championship. We try to put a strong defense. We are lucky because we had a couple of defenders rest the last game. Then we try to push until we catch them because we know they are tired from the game against Canada. And our intention was to be closer, under or up by 2. Now we have to recover the 3 mistakes of the first half.
That's right. Well, thank you very much and good luck. Thanks for joining me. Back to you, Joy and Colt.
Thanks for that, Max, and great insight into the thought processes of an elite coach here at the World Championships. And great to get an insight into the preparation and strategy of a team coming into this matchup. And interesting to hear the Italians talking about their opponent being tired from a previous game. The Germans certainly had an exhausting matchup against Canada. And the conditions here have been very hot and windy, and that's meant that the players have had to exert a lot of effort in every game. And I know all the athletes here taking their recovery extremely seriously.
Just a couple of highlights playing from that first half.
I'd describe that one potentially as a low light. That was the push pass into the end zone here from Guglielmo Cini. And it did not give his intended receiver, Gasparini, the best opportunity to catch it.
Slow-mo of Lars Schmidt, making sure of that one, laying out after a sprint to the end zone. He's been very active this first half, Lars Schmidt. Delightful diving block there.
And here's that phenomenal reaction time that we saw, and a layout stop by Marco Kraus. That was such an incredible piece of handler defense, and it resulted in that goal from David Metzger.
Another goal there to Lars Schmidt. I feel that at the end of this tournament, Cole, when Lars Schmidt looks back at some footage, you'll see that sight quite a number of times. That tall frame waltzing into the end zone, catching a goal.
Absolutely, Joy, and it's being at a World Championship event is a great opportunity for these athletes to get their exploits captured on film, and Mike Palmer and the whole team at Alti TV, with the support of the AFDA and WU24, absolutely honoured to be bringing you this footage, and we hope that all the athletes treasure this opportunity to play on the big stage and have their efforts rewarded. And let's have a quick chat with Ruben Berg, who is our Chief Game Advisor, and he's going to let us know what's happening down on the ground. Ruben?
It's been a really good game so far. There has been a lot of really tight contests, and as in the self-officiated game, the players can establish what level of contact they're happy with. But I think it's really important for our viewers to recognise that it is a non-contact sport, and just because at the higher level they might feel that some contact is okay, it's all right at any level to say that you don't want any contact at all, because it is a non-contact sport.
Thank you very much, Ruben. Good points indeed. You will see a bit of perhaps a couple of bumps here, but importantly, all players must strive to avoid contact. And as Ruben points out, if you don't feel comfortable with that contact when you're playing Ultimate, you're within your rights, the rules of the game, to request that not to happen.
Indeed. In fact, I play a regular Wednesday night mixed league, and we in Brunswick, in Melbourne, and we go to great lengths to minimise contact in that league. It's for players to join in, learn the game, learn the rules, and they certainly don't need to play with the same level of intensity that we see on display here at World Championship level. As we have both teams on the line, hands in the air, the pull coming up from Germany to the Italians.
Huge inside out. That one's arcing out of bounds here. It's moving away, so the Italians can choose to take it from the centre of the field at the brick mark.
So Bruno Mine is the central O-line handler for the Italians, and he has proven himself so far to be a very capable thrower. What I would say is that he has been one of the members of this team that has made very careful choices with the disc. And I think they'll be looking to him to continue that as he moves the disc quickly to Luca Contini. And Contini.
That. Oh, Schmidt. Jan Schmidt there. Peeling off his player, getting ready and reeling that one in. Germany now, a lot of space, a lot of length of the field to work it in, but making sure of that, keeping possession. Down the line, Germany players keeping quite short, keeping the deep space still there. Jan Schmidt again. He's looking for his dump player, who's now cutting up the line. Still keeping the disc there in the central position, Germany. Working hard. Johannes Schall to David Metzger. Oh, and the hammer throw into the end zone. Cross. And is that a Schmidt? It is no other than Jan Schmidt.
That was an incredible hammer. In this wind, he has shown the bottom of the disc directly to the wind, and obviously taken all those calculations into account when he released the disc, because it has landed in the breadbasket of Jan Schmidt. That is an incredible throw to put up in these kind of conditions. And the Germans really now taking the Italians to school.
Metzger hammer there. Metzger to Schmidt. Jan Schmidt is some 6'3" or 6'4", but honestly, if you're 5'0", I think that would have still landed on the receiver's chest. That was a great throw.
Absolutely, and what we saw from the Italians, Contini with the bright red hair, you could see him on stall 6 starting to shake the disc in his hand, looking for a deep shot to throw. And unfortunately, I think that's exactly what they didn't need. They need to treasure possession of the disc. With being this far in arrears now, every single possession is absolutely vital. They simply can't afford to give control of the disc up. So,
bit of a fiery spray there from the Italian coach. Interesting that they made the point about defensive efforts. Italy, since half, is the second point in a row they've come out on offense. So then they're going to need to put this one in before they can come out firing on defense. Italy now working hard. Germany with match defense.
So Vaglia-Velo. The Italians doing well here. Quite windy now. The wind has picked up pretty heavily left to right.
Germany here, mostly playing match, but they do have a player stationed near the throw. Oh, they've gone completely to match here now.
Simonazzi moves it out through to Tobias Mine. Mine through to Simonazzi. Simonazzi with a short gainer to Zani. And the Italians now at least seemingly in control. Stall count really reaching 5, you'd think. And open options usually presenting themselves before they do anything rash. Mine of the bright-haired variety. There are 2 on this roster. His brother has just run past. That is a wonderful inside break throw.
Nicely done. Sat out in front of the throw, in front of the receiver.
Absolutely, very difficult throw. This is Gasparini with the disc. He's gonna release it to Zani again, and that looks like a strip. Bit of a discussion about it. So it seems to me Riccardo Zani is suggesting that he was still holding the disc when the German defender tapped it, and that makes it a strip.
Nicely resolved there. Back into play quickly.
So the Italians literally half a metre from the end zone.
And
now,
there they've done it there, Cole.
Finally, a short pass that works for them, and Luca Tognetti is able to receive that short little pass with ease, and the Italians are on the board for the first time in, I think, 5 or 6 points, Joy.
Yes, they can now get on that defensive burner that they were so after. Let's go down to Max. Maybe he's got a bit of info for us.
Thanks, Joy. I do indeed. Quick update around the grounds. The Japanese team has taken half 8-7 against Australia in the men's division, and in the matchup between Great Britain and the United States of America, the US have extended their lead, shown their pedigree, and pulled it out to 12-5. So, keeping you updated on those 2 games. I'll see if I can get some more info on this one. Back to you.
Thanks, Max. And the men's power pool's in full swing here in the late afternoon sun here in Perth. The shadows are certainly lengthening, and the wind continuing to bluster around, typically left to right on our screens, but not predictable really in any way at all. So the Italians have finally held an offensive point, and they'll have a chance to set up a defense against the Germans. Here comes the pull from Mine.
Italians moving down there with purpose. Germany setting up with horizontal stack. Cutters running across. No obvious options here at the moment. Italy playing tight match defense. Got one of the Follebergers there with a disc.
I think we've got a pick call in the middle of the field, which has caused a temporary stoppage.
Loving the spirit between these 2 teams, Cole, despite the obvious strong desire to win this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely, Joy. There's every contest and every foul call has been resolved very maturely and quickly, which is what we love to see. Self-officiation, even at the highest level, is a phenomenal way to manage a sport, and it creates a culture of trust that is, in my opinion, absolutely irreplaceable. It makes Ultimate the incredible community that it is, and there is a hand block on the mark.
A high hand block there, flubbering up the disc. Germans now scrambling to get on their players. There's a free player adjacent to that disc. Can they take advantage?
Simonazzi and Mine. This is Tobias Mine. Has shot to the end zone, and that is a break for the Italians. They've finally got what they were looking for. Tobias Mine through to Massimo Vagliavello.
Italian 7 players there, looking quite restrained, but the players running to congratulate them were obviously pumped. So that's the defensive 7, perhaps the coach was talking about at halftime. Getting the job done.
Absolutely, Joy, and it can be a great thing for a team, I think, when you break at halftime or a timeout and you talk about what you want to do as a team. And to have that then play out on field starts to build the belief in yourself and your teammates that you can execute on your desires. And the Italians now salvaging something from this game. That's Tobias Mine with that rapid strike into the end zone.
Will they be able to do it 2 in a row? Germany, I think, results critical in this power pool. So every goal of importance. It's power pool afternoon here. We're surrounded by other matches. GB v USA just behind us, and Japan, Australia on a nearby field as well. Okay, Germany coming out on offense. That pool's sitting up for a long time. Vertical stack here from Germany. A long shot straight away. Oh, and the German player, second effort, reels it in. Number 31 there, Spanuth. And now Hartmann. Hartmann, one of the captains here. She's shown a calm head with disc in hand before. Vollerberger. And goal to Germany. That long shot paid off. Had to go for the second effort, bobbled it up, unintentionally probably, trying to go for the high grab straight away. Second effort, well done, Germany.
Absolutely, Joy. Sometimes Ultimate can be a game of percentages, and when the disc was in the air, that looked like a pretty low percentage shot for Germany. I thought the Italian defender, Michel Farina, had a really good look at that disc, and indeed he did, getting his hand in for a quick block. But unbelievable second effort from the Germans, and they've managed to scrap a score in that point.
Ike Kramer there with the goal for Germany.
Fabulous second effort, extending to grab that disc. And then a nice around backhand break for the score.
Vollerberger showing his class with the disc, assisting to Ike Kramer for the goal.
So the Italians going downwind on this offensive point.
Interesting part of the game here. We're well into the second, third. The early over-exuberance, perhaps, of some of the athletic contests has died down a bit, and we've seen some grinding points.
So Bruno Mine, the key offensive handler for Italy, walks towards the brick mark, and the Italians sticking with their trusty horizontal stack. Giugiel Melchini is their primary deep look. He's a very tall man. Let's see if the Italian offense can display some of that calm, comfortable decision-making that they need to maintain control of this disc. I say that as Mine launches a phenomenal deep shot, which lands right on the chest of Simone Gasparini. That is a wonderfully executed blading flick.
Well done, Italy. I'm not sure if I missed something from the German perspective there, but maybe a lapse in concentration defensively. Saw a number of undercuts open from that Italian team. That's players running towards the disc, maybe 3 or 4 throws in that way, and then the deep shot opens up. And we see that so many times in Ultimate. I think that's perhaps why that defensive tactic of shutting down the throw towards, the option towards the disc, the undercut, is so valued in Ultimate.
Absolutely, Joy. It's almost defense 101, isn't it? Make sure that it's not easy to get the disc underneath on the open side, because if you allow teams to consistently move the disc with easy throws, then the angles change and it becomes increasingly difficult to place your defenders in the right spot. And I agree, I don't think the German defense looked as good in that point as it typically has for most of this game. So perhaps the hard work that they've put in throughout today, and as the Italian coach mentioned, they had a very tough matchup against Canada. Maybe that effort is starting to take its toll.
Deep pull there. Folleberger centers it to his brother.
Whoa, a poach block very nearly completed by Gabriel Cazzola.
Hartmann dubs it back. Germany spread out quite deep in the field here. Back to Hartmann. Hartmann, one of the captains, has shown his class with the disc here. Folleberger hoiks it long, looking for Schmidt. Oh, a little bit of a bump. Schmidt's trying to hold his position. Oh, well done, Italy.
Fantastic defense there from Lorenzo Pavan. He did what you need to do in such a situation, which is read the disc better, and it's called boxing out your opposition player. That means standing in a position where you have a better line towards the disc than your opposition does. And he's done well to read the flight of the disc and get his massive body in the way and affect the D, which has given possession to the Italians, who are now working their way through Semprini Cesari to Luca Tognetti. Tognetti back to Mine. He seems to be the more defensively minded of the two Mine brothers. Back through to Tognetti.
Germans here, mostly match defense. Some players sagging off their players slightly to take a dangerous area. You see number 24 there, so Hartmann doing that a little bit.
Oh, that's a blade over the top of the stack, and it's worked out well. Semprini Cesari again. The disc moving very quickly now. The Italians looking much more composed with the disc in hand. And they have just shot a laser into the end zone, and they love it. Luca Tognetti is the throw up. Credit him with an assist. His throw to Tommaso Semprini Cesari for the goal. I beg your pardon. It was not Cesari. It was Luca Valentini with the score. And the Italians are going to love that.
Well done, Italy. So, a little comeback here. Tightening up that margin between the two teams. That makes it 10-8, Germany-Italy, and it's within this margin of a couple of points, and it's so easy for doubts to enter the mind.
So a timeout's been called by Italy. And Ruben, perhaps you could tell us what the WU24 rules about the timing for timeouts is.
Yeah, so if you call a timeout in between points, it only extends that time by 75 seconds. It doesn't matter when you call the timeout. You can't just wait 30 seconds and then call it and try and get more time. It only ever extends that time between the points by 75 seconds.
Thanks very much, Ruben. That's not much time at all, is it? Just a couple of pithy points. Let's go to Max on the sideline. I think he's got something for us.
I do indeed, Joy. I was able to grab Coach Buchholz from the German team for a moment and ask him what tweaks the Germans have made since the last time these two teams met in November, when Italy was able to come away with the win. And what he said was it was simply a case of getting the right matchups on the right players on that Italian team. We've been hearing a lot from you guys about the Mine brothers, and the Germans know it too. They're obviously a key part of this Italian team, both offensively and defensively. And as Coach Buchholz described it, they have some special treatment for those two, and it clearly has been working. Though just in these last couple of points, it seems like the Italians have found another level. So perhaps they've got a counterpunch to throw.
Thanks, Max. It's an interesting point that you make about the Mine brothers. They remind me a little of Manuela and Valeria Cardenas in the sense that they look athletically like they have many of the same tools, and yet clearly one of them has chosen to focus on the offensive side of the game and the other has chosen to focus on the defensive side of the game. And Manuela is very much the defensively minded Cardenas, and Valeria is definitely the offensive player. And here we've got Bruno. Bruno Mine is the central offensive handler for the Italians, and his brother, Tobias, appearing to be their key handler defender. That's a big pull. It's going to float back in bounds, and the Germans are away.
Back here with Folleber to Hartmann. Centers that disc. Germans out of a vertical stack. Lots of space. Left and right of that stack. Oh, diving block there. Discussion.
Lorenzo Pavan was the one who made the block. Let's see if we can hear what's happening with Ruben.
So,
my perspective. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure.
Uncontested? Uncontested strip.
That is
Uncontested.
fantastic display of spirit, folks. You heard it, uncontested call there. The disc goes to that German player who would have caught it had that contact not occurred. Near the sideline here, just a couple of meters away, and sends that back in long. Oh, it's turned over. Not sure if the defender got a bit of a hand to it, but
If he didn't, Joy, I think just didn't get enough rotation on the disc. The wind, I think, also, unluckily for him, picked up right at the crucial moment. But you can see the instability in the flight of the disc. And the Italians now mounting it, well, right as we say it, commentators curse. About to say mounting a comeback, and they've unfortunately let that one slip through the fingers, and the Germans with another opportunity.
Germany again. Follower faking long and just looking to hit Hartmann there, short and middle.
Pick call back in the stack. Disc is going to go back.
I love the way Hartmann times his movements towards the thrower, and he's also in a perfect position to hit often. If you're a player who wants to model yourself on someone who really is central to your team's offense, I think Hartmann is a good player to take a close look at here. Follower. Hunschmeyer hoits it. 2 and 2. Oh. Well, that's a tricky situation for the Italians, right? It was 2 German players, 2 Italians. Did manage to get the defensive tap, but Germany come down with it.
Indeed, Marco Della Vedova was pretty disappointed with that outcome. He read the disc very well, timed his jump to perfection, got a hand on it. And there's a meme that exists among many in the ultimate community, catch your Ds. And the reason is, if you don't catch it, somebody else still might. And Della Vedova, unfortunately for him, certainly feeling the weight of that one. He's macked it just a little further into the end zone, and the Germans there to clean up the scraps.
Great. And just an update on the game that happened behind us. And I say happened past tense because we've just had word that USA men have beaten the GB men's team 15-6. So that's quite a result. They were close. I think at some point they were 6-8 or 6-4, a close margin. But USA have obviously run away with that, exerted themselves, and put their stamp on that game, 15-6.
So the Italians coming out on offense, upwind.
Zone defense here from Germany. Couple of players not strictly marking one-on-one.
That's an unfortunate drop for Bruno Mine. And it's going to give the Germans a very short field to attack. They've got an open side cut.
Jan Schmidt. And a little pop pass, and that's it. That's the goal. Not far to work it in there for Germany. The goal there to Marco Kraus.
Yeah.
Just an unfortunate drop there for Mina there, Cole.
Absolutely, and it's one of those things, you dread the day when it's going to happen to you, but you play enough Ultimate, eventually it will.
Absolutely.
And it's a very short field drop for Mine, right near his own end zone, and the Germans able to capitalize quickly. So the Italians with the challenge now, they've got to keep their shoulders back, their heads high, because the game's not over. It's 12-8, and they've shown they can string a few points together when they play their game. And certainly I hope for the health of this contest that they find another gear and take it to the Germans. I don't think it's over yet.
Schmidt to Kraus in that goal. Both teams now looking to find a way through. 12-8 to Germany, so quite a number of points potentially left in this game. I wonder if we're going to see a really tight one like the previous match, Cole, with Japan v Canada in the women's division, going about as close as it's possible to go in an ultimate game.
Absolutely, Joy. That was, for me, the contest of the tournament so far, and frankly, one of the greatest contests I've seen in Ultimate ever.
Let's quickly head down to Max for a quick word.
Speaking of great contests, Cole, Just been and checked in on the Japan-Australia game. They're at 9 apiece. It looks like that one might go all the way down to the wire and go the full distance.
Phenomenal, Max. And Japan and Australia have a long and storied rivalry in Ultimate. They play two very different styles, and it will be interesting to see who can win that contest. But we are more concerned with the Italians and the Germans for now. Phenomenal catch. Wow, fantastic driving grab from the captain, Tonelli, to save possession for his team. That pass was blading away, and I think we've got a pick called in the stack to create a short stoppage. Yeah, that was an inside flick break thrown towards him, and it just started to curl away. He had to use every bit of his athleticism to make sure he could secure that disc, and he did so. So the Italians, another pick. The Italians running a vertical stack, and when it's congested in front of the disc, as it is right now, every single player forward of the disc, picks can be the result. And they're making forward progress now.
Nice quick movement there from the Italians.
Bruno Mine just meters from the goal line. And he's been stalled out, so he took the full 10 seconds, and he was looking for first an open shot in the end zone and second at least a dump, and neither was provided to him.
Jan Schmidt to his brother. Oh, flick huck there. Oh, well defended there from the Italian player.
Absolutely. Gasparini that was. He has been a threat in the air all day on both sides of the disc. So Bruno Mine might have a chance to redeem himself. He receives the disc now. And a quick shot into Laffy. Laffy with an inside break. It's Tonelli, the captain, now with the disc. They're moving it sideways nicely. That is well weighted, but not quite in. Oh, no!
My word.
So often, the hardest passes in Ultimate are the shortest passes in Ultimate. That flick had to travel only a meter or two from Laffy.
Laffy just seemed to look at his hands as if to say, look, that's where I wanted the disc to end up. And it's not there.
Looks like a timeout called by the Germans.
That's the drama. Cole, just a little earlier, I just saw one of the Italian coaching staff just serve up an absolute spray to his sideline. I think different teams, it must be said, fire up in completely different ways. And what can look perhaps a little bit aggressive to us is how a team communicates and how it gets itself back on the road to success.
Absolutely, Joy. There's different styles of play, different styles of team culture, and all influenced both by the country that they're from and the individuals on the team. And I don't think there's a right or wrong way to do anything. There's only the ways that work and the ways that don't work for any particular group of people. And the Italians, I think, like to use their fire as a source of energy. And when it works, it really works. I've seen them when they're on their game. Earlier this week, I saw them up against Austria, and they were up and about and really put the Austrians in their place in that game. And the energy and intensity was up for sure. And I think they're looking to try and find that again now. And maybe the coach thinks a quick spray to the players is the way to get it.
Yeah, spot on. Just a quick timeout there called by the Germans. They've got possession of this disc right in their defensive end zone. So, and they're going upwind here, right to left. They spread out using their horizontal stack. We've seen both teams, I believe, using a variety of offensive structures. Horizontal stacks well used across the Ultimate world. Italy here look to be marking up one-on-one in match defense.
Interesting note about the German horizontal stack there. Only 2 handlers, 5 cutters. Typically it's a 3-4 setup.
We've gone more to a vertical stack here. Schmidt cuts forward, gets it. Schal. Krause. Looking for long, but patiently moves it back to Schal. Across here on this close sideline, Metzger. Working hard, handlers. Can they get open? Handler goes down the line. Nicely open there, Schmidt. And a cross-field hammer. Oh!
Fantastic tee. Arturo Laffy. He's the one who threw the short flick pass at the other end zone.
Bit of redemption there. Krauser couldn't quite reel that one in. That hammer sat up there for a long time. I'm not sure that I love that option. It was open to start with, but with these conditions.
Men's Ultimate, I think it's fair to say, Joy, sees its share of ill-advised hammers at crucial moments of games, and now, unfortunately, the Italians have copped up an absolute sit-up. Gasparini just playing with a stringless tennis racket for a moment there, unable to clear that disc.
Maybe just a tired error there from the Italian player, Charles. Well, Metzger runs in, full of energy, gets that goal.
And look, Joy, I just want to hand some credit here to number 28, Alberto Tonelli of the Italian team. He is their captain. He had a bid on that disc if he had been willing to cause contact. And a half second before he arrived, he realized that he would cause contact, and hopefully we'll see on the replay here, he pulls out at the very last minute, knowing that he was beaten to the disc, and he does the right thing, looks after his German opponent, David Metzger, and that is fantastic spirit. And that's what spirit of the game is all about. Respect your opponent, look after your opponent, and great to see such fantastic spirit from Tonelli, the captain of the Italian team.
Yeah, nice illustration there. Thanks, Cole. You're seeing a highlight there of Italian defense earlier in that point. Again, very clean. Got the D on that occasion. Didn't cause contact with his opponent. It's 12-8 here, Germany, Italy. As the shadows creep across the field.
Quick correction, Joy, 13-8. That was the score to get the Germans up to 13.
Great, thank you. Really cools down after that sun dips behind the hill and the buildings. It's so hot here in Perth in summer, 35 degrees. But as soon as that sun goes down, the wind's still here and it cools right down.
So a bit of lack of edge control on that pull, and possibly asking the wind to do a little too much. That pull has sailed out of bounds from Jonathan Schall, and the Italians electing to take the yardage on offer, and we will have Tobias Mine bringing in the disc, and that's a tasty inside flick break to Simonazzi. Simonazzi with a quick dump back to Angela, the spirit captain of this team. And pick call downfield. Would like to see a few more hand signals from some of the players in this game. The game advisors are doing a good job, but it's everybody's responsibility to let us know what's happening on the field. So Simonazzi, Angela, back to Mine. And the Italians needing all of their composure for what is presently a very stiff upwind point.
Italians doing very well here. Just grinding it out. Germans very tight on. Match defense. No easy options.
Wow. Tobias Mine's inside breaks. Oh, big bid.
Lovely bid there from Schmidt. Oh, and perhaps inadvertently in laying out for that D attempt, exposed his side of the bargain when it came to protecting a part of the field. And there we had Italy slice it cleanly through for the goal.
Absolutely. Luca Contini there with a missile upwind. He has thrown that disc as hard as he possibly could into the wind in the hopes to get it to his player and successfully hauled in. So the Italians are now 9, Germany 13, and the wind really picking up in this late afternoon sun as we see Contini laser that disc in for the score. What a bid from Lars Schmidt.
Italy here, what can they do? They're 4 points behind. It's a bit tricky, but absolutely still possible.
Italy have shown they can string a run of points together. So I think the key for them is their offensive decision-making. We've seen on that last point upwind, nobody making any rash decisions. And they do have the skills to maintain control of this disc. As Tognetti launches the pull, he is a mainstay on this team. He's played a lot of points in this game.
Some familiar faces definitely starting to emerge. Charles went long.
Oh, Tobias Mine read that beautifully, and you can see the dangers that lurk when you huck upwind.
Charles had to wait and camp under that disc for maybe a second too long.
So what can the Italians do now? Mine has just uncorked a monster shot deep, and it's brought in by Tognetti. He immediately dumps. Back to Tognetti. The Italians need to calm down here. That's a lefty backhand flick over the mark to Massimo Vagliavello.
A bit of swagger there from the Italians. A D, and then some quick movement forwards for their downwind gold there.
So if you're new to watching Ultimate, one thing that can happen when a wind like this is forcing the game upwind and downwind is deep shots in the upwind direction often take a lot longer to get down to a catchable height than they would if you were thrown the other way. And that's where the Italians managed to capitalize in that case. Then when you huck it downwind, as they did there to Tognetti, you've got to be very careful not to overthrow your receiver. And Tognetti here with a cheeky little lefty backhand over the top, landing on Massimo's chest.
Absolutely. Two types of hucks going up there. First upwind, as Cole described, then the downwind. And you saw the difference in how the disc behaved there.
So Tobias Mine, if I'm not mistaken, has played the last 5 points in a row. He is anchoring this D-line and causing blocks and then throwing bombs. He's a very complete player, and I'm very impressed with what I've seen, with everything except perhaps for his haircut.
They're certainly showing a lot of
confidence to wear that haircut, I think.
I think these guys have confidence. That's confidence is not lacking here. Absolutely. Vollerberger here. Germany straight away, downwind. They take that option. Oh, and he saw it just sail neatly over. Krauser here had to stretch up and get it though, because it was quite a high disc. Herneschmeyer looking to move his mark. Straight to Vollerberger. Just slips over an inopportune time to his brother, Vollerberger again. Oh! Safe hands there. Is that Hartmann? He's shown such composure and poise here. Vollerberger. His brother cuts up the line, but looks off. Tightly guarded there. Backwards then to Vollerberger. And a sharp, incisive attempt. Oh, just too far. It's downwind, but has pushed it. A little too much zing in that throw.
Yeah, we have a phrase in Australia, Joy. A few too many wheat bix for breakfast. Means you're gotten a little bit too keen, given a bit too much power in the disc, and I think under 24s men's is a great place to see people put a little bit too much power into the disc. So touch is something that comes with maturity sometimes, and players that can control. Oh wow!
The second to the knifey swing.
Well recovered by Lorenzo Pavan, and a timeout called by number 27, Filippo Simonazzi.
Timeout called, then immediately through the disc with an expression of emotion, shall we say.
Yes, that was quite a dramatic timeout call, Joy. One of the more enthusiastic timeout calls I've seen today.
I think he wanted those extra 75 to 90 seconds.
Absolutely. So, Joy, do you think the Italians have got it in them? Can they affect a 4-point turnaround in the closing stages of this match?
I think they do, Cole. We've seen them come on mini runs, shall we say, in this game, affecting a few points in a row. This point, I think, is really important. If Germany get this one, that makes it 14 for them, which is on the verge of winning the match. Game to 15 here. Italy run on their passion, their emotions. They're quite hyped up here, as you saw with that energetic timeout call. If they can get this one, they'll rouse themselves, I think, and who knows what could happen here. That would be 11-13 in that case, and that's super close.
Absolutely, Joy. And the other thing that an Italian score now, that a German score now would do is force the Italians to play the next offensive point upwind. That would certainly be a challenge for them, so they'll be hoping to effect a stop here. It'll make their run towards the end of this game much more achievable, I think. For me, I think it's all about intensity on D for the Italians and calm option taking on O. They've shown that when they are careful, they can move the disc confidently. So the Italians on offense, working their way upwind. They really want to score this, force the Germans to come upwind in the following point.
Let's see what they got. Horizontal stack here on offense. Germans match defense. Someone cutting in from the side, just a simple in cut. Germans sticking tight. Germans are super tight here at the moment. I can't see a matchup with more than 1.5 meters between them, the two players. Finally find someone with a bit of separation. All over the park, still tight. Germans obviously very motivated here.
Tobias Mine puts the disc out for Filippo Simonazzi. Back now to Valiavelo and Luca Tognetti, who has sent an ill-advised laser through the stack, and the Germans able to easily cut that off.
Yeah, I think maybe a loss of patience there. The Germans, as I said, were super tight everywhere. And as the point wears on, that can, it's so hard to reset mentally to one throw at a time. It starts to accumulate in everyone's heads about what a job this is.
So the Germans have asked for a fresh disc. Seemingly the defensive effort caused the previous game disc to lose its roundness.
Oh, and timeout call there from Germany.
So as you said in the previous timeout, Joy, this is a crucial moment for this game, because if the Germans are able to march this down the field and punch it in, the Italians are facing match point against them 5 points in a row. And they've shown they can string a few points together, but 5 might just be beyond them, you think?
Yeah, never say never though, Cole. It has been done before. But yeah, it is that would be an uphill battle. Germany here, they got that block, and now they've called the timeout. Bit of vision here from Japan, Australia.
So we'd heard that had gone to 8-7 Japan at half. And
let's cross to Max quickly.
Thanks, guys. It is 11-11 right now. It could not be any closer. Both of these teams putting their bodies on the line is seriously zones all the way. It is an incredible game to watch. I'll keep you updated as the game continues.
Thanks very much, Max. So super close, going down to the wire, down there, Japan, Australia, in the power pool stage of the Under-24 World Ultimate Championships. We're here though in the final stages of Germany, Italia. 13 to Germany at the moment, 10 Italy. Germany to bring back the disc. Vollerberger, Hartmann.
I'm super impressed with Hartmann's play. He has been calm, composed, and decisive with the disc every time he goes near it.
Spot on there, Cole. Vollerberger here. Oh, miscommunication. It's sitting up though, but just in time for Mine. Oh.
Deliberate Mac to gain ground. That's not a tactic you'll often see. That was a pretty cheeky little move from Tobias Mine. Put that one on the man's highlight reel. That was pretty cool. Oh, the Italians now. Oh, they've done it. No, travel call. Back here with Filippo Simonazzi.
Germany have got to pick themselves up here. They've got their heads down a tiny bit, but they are tightly matched up here.
I still can't get over that forward Mac from Tobias Mine. That is a pretty brave thing to do when possession of the Frisbee is so critical. As we see a contest in the end zone, a German player slow to get up as he does look like he might be hurt, unfortunately.
A bit of contact there. German player looked to be behind the Italian player and dived, trying to get a D. affected perhaps a bit of contact. It's hard to see. They're on the opposite sideline.
Ruben making his way over. Let's see if we can get any audio of the contest. Seems like Gabriel Calarotta has called a foul.
You've got the Mac that Cole is talking about. With a cheeky move there from Mine, gaining some 10 metres or so.
I love it. That's the best defensive Mac I've seen in a while. So our competitors discussing the contact.
Oh, triple whistle there from game advisors, just indicating that the discussion has gone on for at least 30 seconds and things should be wrapping up now, if not very, very soon.
So, Calarotta going to collect the disc. I think we have seen an uncontested foul, and he's did not complete the catch, so he takes the disc from the end zone line, directly adjacent to where the foul occurred. And the disc is coming in on stall 1. He takes a quick dump, back to Tognetti. What an impressive player he's been today. He's seeking a dump. Stall count's rising, he's put it into the end zone. That's a phenomenal catch.
There's a call.
And there's a call. Looks like a contested stall. I don't wish to editorialize too much, but if that's 10 seconds, I'll eat my shoe.
And they don't look like your best shoes today, Cole, I'm sorry to say.
So Tognetti's not happy about it. Let's see if Hartman, who's shown he plays with great spirit, so I don't wish to cast any aspersions on Hartman. He firmly believes that he had counted the full 10 seconds. And for my part, I think justice has been served there and the Italians maintain possession. And Tognetti gets his just reward. He loses an assist off the stat sheet, but he gains a goal instead. And our man, Tobias Mine, with the assist. What an impressive player he is. And the Italians maintain just enough momentum to keep this contest alive. Anything could happen at this point, Joy. It's 13-11.
Absolutely. That is the close comeback margin that Italy were looking for. And how dominant has Tobias Mine been in this match? He's been everywhere. And as you say, both those Mine guys have played a lot of points this match. A number of points in a row. Can we cross to Ruben quick?
Yeah, just a point of clarification on that foul in the end zone. It is a relatively new rule, so not everyone is familiar with it, but the disc should have been checked in the end zone after that uncontested foul and then walk up to the goal line. The old rules, you start from the goal line. We've changed it now, so you start in the end zone and then walk up.
Thanks, Ruben. So the difference there being that the players can move when the disc is moving back to the end zone line. And we've got Max with a score update from the Japanese-Australia game.
12-11 here to Japan. You can see them work that in. And
you can see there, guys, that the Goannas doing a great job at working through a Japanese zone. The pool landed deep in the Goannas end zone. They had to work at the full 100 meters through a tight, aggressive zone look from the Japanese D-line, and they were able to do just that. Playing patiently, playing conservatively, taking the options when they were there, working it the whole way up the field. It's now 12-all. Anything could happen.
Fantastic. Thanks, Max. A tight one here as well. Just 2 points to margin. Oh!
Layout block, but a call. That was Gabriel Spisso getting horizontal.
Athletic move there from Italy. Couple of these plays now involving some discussion. Bit of contact involved in some of these plays late in the game.
I did not have full control of the disc, and I'm not calling a strip. I'm calling a foul because you just threw on my hand.
So he's calling a foul. What do you think?
I think there was not.
So you contest?
Do you think there was no contact on my hand? Did you not touch my hand? The disc first.
So it's just going back here if it's contested. So.
All right.
Great stuff. Love the insight we get there with the mic'd up game advisors able to take us onto the field and hear the discussion between the players. Spisso's layout block there caused contact with number 70, David Metzger, and he called a foul.
Metzger cuts again, has it now. Store count moving on, managed to unload. Italy here, super tight in the D. Germany working really hard to find an open option there. Schmidt on the sideline, and Krause had to lay out right in front of his defender just in order to secure that disc. Charles here. His defender sagging off, so he's got the disc for now. Schmidt again. Krause. Charles. Germany very patient for now. And Charles.
The Italian defense, hard match D, and fitness now definitely starting to play a part, I think. Both teams breathing heavily. That is a shot to the end zone, and a phenomenal catch.
That's Schmidt to Schmidt, and their patience rewarded there. Jan Schmidt to Lars Schmidt, I believe. You saw them take their time, and the store count no doubt got a little bit high on some of those possessions, but worked it around. Didn't lose their cool. And Schmidt was able to sit that disc up so nicely for his brother. And it at first moved past him, but he was able to run it down, grab that goal for Germany.
Yeah, difficult throw here. We see on the replay, that's quite a narrow window he's got to throw through, and particularly into an upwind, getting a flick to stay sitting flat and politely catchable. That is an expert throw from Schmidt. And Germany now on match point, every point until the end of the game.
Absolutely. Nice vision there for the replay. 66 to 99. Jan Schmidt to Lars Schmidt. Germany 14, Italy 11. It's been a pretty close game here the whole way. A few runs made from either team, a few points strung together. Italy, of course, it's game point here for Germany, so Italy need to do their utmost here. Offense line need to score.
So Bruno Mine with the disc, and just to let you know, if you're watching the coverage here, that should this game finish before the Australia-Japan game has ended, we will switch our coverage to the phenomenal layout block.
Schmidt doing it all.
Germany with the opportunity to close this out now.
Krause. Charles here, flick down the line. Schlur. Oh, and just a wayward pass. Quite keen. Trying to force that one in. Germany probably thought that was it.
I think they thought they could write their name in the record books.
Oh, wow. But you saw there the replay of that athletic block by Schmidt. He's very, very tall, and he used his height as length there to just dive across the space of his... and again.
That's Metzger this time, David Metzger. And the Germans determined to take this game away from the Italians. They want to put a full stop on it right now.
They don't have far to work it in here. This is Charles. Germans in a vertical stack. Oh! It looks easy from here, Cole, but, you know, it's not quite the same.
Yeah, it's a high-pressure situation, and the German team have performed admirably throughout this contest, and I think now they need to just take a breath when they get a chance to hold the disc and treasure possession. Oh, fantastic diving catch. That's Arturo Laffi, and he has just sent a beautiful upwind huck, which is caught by Angela. The Italians now hoping to keep themselves in this game. There's a quick dump. Oh my goodness.
Charles on the mark there.
At the critical moment, that is the worst throw of the game that we've
Hoitlong.
seen.
Oh my gosh.
And in the other direction, both teams now, you would think, exhausted and making some silly errors. And that can be the difference at World Championship level. These under-24s players needing to mature in their game style sometimes. Oh, another massive layout block attempt.
Another bid there from Charles. These guys are throwing their bodies around, but they need to show a bit of decision-making stamina on offense. Let's quickly go to Max for a bit of an update.
Guys, I've got you an update from the result of the Japan-Australia game. Japan have just put it away, 13-12. There were bodies flying left, right and centre as Australian players were bidding. There was a wall of noise coming from the golden sideline as the crowd went nuts in support of Australia, but they weren't quite able to get it done in the end, and Japan's come away with that one.
Thanks, Max. That's super tight. Good one for Japan. A blow to Australia. This one is also potentially wrapping up soon.
We've got a big upwind huck. I don't think he's going to make it.
This has been a crazy point.
It has, hasn't it? Gigel Melchini, you can see him giving it absolutely everything he had. But that throw, you can see Arturo Laffi, the captain, apologising for that throw. He let his youthful exuberance get the better of him on that occasion.
Yeah,
and this epic point continues.
Definitely. We're seeing some of the German discipline, the characteristic German discipline, disintegrate a little bit just in this last point. And that mood is also infecting the Italian players. But, oh, just too close to the sideline there.
We've seen a greatest attempt there from Kraus. He knew he was going to land out of bounds, quickly threw the disc inboard in the hopes that one of his teammates would catch it. But Bruno Mine comes up with the disc to Semprini Cesari. Dumps back to Mine. Can the Italians keep calm, maintain possession? Angela out to Laffi. Laffi with a cheeky inside flick to Cesari, to the goal line, and that is Angela, the Spirit captain, with the score. And the Italians now 13. And they are going to force the Germans to work it.
They're actually 12.
Oh, beg your pardon, 12. The Italians are going to force the Germans to work upwind to score this next point. So the game not overjoyed. Can the Germans do it?
Well. So we've hit over 100 minutes on the game time clock as well. But Germany, 14 with the game to 15. We're going to have to, both teams are going to have to find a way here.
So, quite a tense matchup here. The Germans look to have the game sealed up just a few minutes ago, but the Italians have found some of their signature spirit. And honestly, if you could clone the Mine brothers 5 or 6 times over, I think you'd take it.
Yeah, that last point seemed to probably, from the German perspective, go forever. What they wanted was a quick score. And what they had was a tussle to and fro, multiple turnovers, and Italy coming away with that point. Germans now starting on offense. They're going to be on the right side of your screen, and they're going to have to reset mentally. I wonder how many fresh bodies are on that line after that mammoth last point. Very deep pull there from Italy. Not sure if it's going to stay in.
It has sailed out the back, and the Germans calling for a break.
Just a quick reminder for our viewers, pulls need to land inbounds, and if they don't, the offensive team can elect to take that pull, that possession, from the brick mark. You can see that German player running up to that allotted mark. Germany quite spread out here. Faliba. To Hartmann here, a pick call. We've got both of Folibers on here, Andreas and Martin. Let's see if they can use their calm connections. We saw a lot of those two earlier in the game, passing one to another, getting a loads of the disc. Let's see if they can calmly slot this one in.
Oh! Diving block attempt from Lorenzo Pavan. He missed the disc, but caused enough chaos, and the Italians have possession again. Here's Tobias Mine. He has been an incredible presence on this field. Simonazzi now has struck to the goal line, and they've scored, I think. No, we've got a call. I think a foul called. I believe the German player feeling like there was some contact that led to that separation. So well within his rights to call a foul.
We okay?
I call foul.
Yep, foul called.
I was taking position. No. You were like going this way and want to make the cut this way. And by cutting, you push me back with your arm. I had no chance to follow you. Honestly.
So, you contest or you accept?
Sorry.
You can hear these discussions.
Uncontested.
Uncontested, you hear.
Still count was on. 3.
Thanks very much, Ruben. And players here, despite the language difficulties and the intense nature of this late stage of the match, these issues need to be worked out between the players themselves. So Mina with the disc.
It's Calarotta, who was involved in that most recent discussion and has got his mind back on the job. The Italians, if they can just keep their calm here, you suspect they might force another point. Calarotta is wide open. Tognetti, who has been an absolute powerhouse for this team. To Tobias Mine, who has just thrown, oh my goodness! What a grab! We should give Tognetti both the score and the assist for that one. That was Mine's worst throw of the game, and his compatriot has made him look good with that reception. That was an incredible pack grab.
Sandwich between two German defenders there, Cole. Managed to somehow come out with that disc, and maybe football enthusiasts as well, giving it a good old boot. But wow, Italy bringing it up to 13, Germany 14. Germany, they're walking slowly back to that line. Let's have a look at this replay. Mine, always there, of course, but gives it his little time. That's
the little happy dance from Mine when he realized his ill-advised lefty backhand was going to be hauled in by his towering teammate. And look, I don't have a horse in this race, but I'd love to see the Italians score one more and take this game to universe point. So, Germany coming downwind. They have it all to win.
a couple of points ago, Cole. It was 14-11. We were saying, oh, have Italy got it in them to bring it back? 2 points later, it feels like a completely different game. 14-13. Now it's Italy who are full of bounce. They're coming out in D.
No surprise to see Tognetti and Tobias Mine on the defensive line. They have both been absolutely phenomenal. In fact, this defensive line looks very similar to the one that contested the last point.
Follower here, looking for his brother. Oh my word! Oh, and a miscue. The other follower diving in his attempt, but Italy on the verge.
Oh my goodness, Italy have done it! We're going to universe point. We are going to universe point. The Germans are going to have to bring the disc upwind. I think if you looked at the odds so far throughout this contest, you'd have to say the Italians are in the position you wanted to be in, holding the wind in their stead. The Germans did the advantage to start with the disc, and the women's matchup between Japan and Canada was an absolute nail-biter joy. We've backed it up with another in the men's division.
This is the show filled with drama today, definitely, Cole. I saw Italians up and about as that goal was scored. An impromptu cartwheel from one of the Italian players. Lovely. Germany need to sprightly up here. They are looking down in the dumps. Couple of miscues, but they have to pull it out. Often it's just that it's the toughest position to be in here on offense after a defensive team has scored a few in a row.
Yeah, the Germans, I think, need to engage the 8th player. That's their sideline. The people on the sideline, players on the sideline now have played their part on field, but they're not out of the game yet. They can contribute to their team's success by getting loud, providing support, and at the moment they look a bit dejected, and you'd like to see them get the energy up, support their teammate.
3 in a row there for Italy, and Germany, I think we ruined some of those hasty shots earlier in the piece when it was 14-11. They were playing pretty happy-go-lucky with some of those long shots, and they're looking for it now though. 14-all, Germany-Italy.
That's a big rolling pull from Luca Tognetti, and I don't have an attendance sheet in front of me, but if I had to guess, I'd suggest he's been on the last 10 points in a row. Calarotta, the handler defender, number 26, he too has been a mainstay of this defensive lineup for the Italians.
Oh, Charles cutting across. Germany here, trying to assert themselves. Is that Folliver there with the disc?
Looks like a call.
Yeah.
Like to see some hand
But
signals
I
from
was shifting myself.
players.
I think that you're too close to me. Yeah, I was close, but it's not a foul. I can't move without touching you, and I'm just moving. I don't think it's a foul. You can start.
I can help.
Yeah.
I think you're too close.
Yeah, it was too close.
So it's your fault if there is contact.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I think.
Okay. That what I said is that he can stop the play.
No. If he calls a foul, because you're too close.
It's contact, not foul.
No, he can call a foul to stop play. That's fine.
Okay,
and uncontested.
Uncontested.
Ruben there clarifying, contact is a different call to a foul. Contact does not stop play, but it did in that case. Folliver here. Can Germany do it? Hartmann sends one. It's a high looping pass. Oh, Italy there. Mine laps it up.
Guess who? Tobias Mine. Joy, this is phenomenal. They have the disc in hand now.
Check out Mina there, Cole. Gets the D, and now just calmly pottering around saying, hey, guys, let's get this done.
He is an impressive player to watch. I've not seen him in action before. I am sure we will see him in action again. He looks to have a long career in Ultimate ahead of him. He and his brother both have been absolute powerhouses for this Italian team. And the Italians now, with everything to play for, they have the disc in hand, the wind at their backs. And if they can just keep calm, led by Tognetti and Mine, I think they might take the win.
Mine, lots of moves there, able to get open at will.
Moves across to Simonazzi. Simonazzi taking his time. Nicely done. Tognetti again. A threat both downfield and with the disc in hand. The Italians just need to keep running.
Italy full of confidence here, just individual cuts peeling off that vertical stack. They're calmly just moving the disc around. Mine faking, but just takes what he's got.
Calarotta. Looks like we've got a call. A pick, I believe. Back a throw or two.
Not a bad situation having the disc back in Mine's hands.
No, he's proven himself to be a very capable thrower and an excellent decision maker. And his defensive efforts have left everybody watching today impressed, I'm sure.
So you can ask if it affected the play.
Did it affect the play? Did you stop? No.
No.
So from there.
Discussion here is about if the pick, as in that obstruction for the defender, affected what happened during that possession.
Okay, I'm just asking if it's influent or not. If you say no, then the disc is there. If you say yes, the disc is here. Maybe, yeah, okay. We were like, all of us three.
All right.
We're out of the play.
So, sounds like you're taking too long.
Yeah.
Contested.
Disc here. Okay, get back.
They should be back where you were when the pass was thrown.
So the players now needing to reset their positions. And the disc is back in. Mine with the disc.
Little claw crept out, secured that.
Oh, they're knocking on the door now.
Oh, I thought that was
is a
it.
straddle. He's landed on the line, which is not in the end zone. Oh, goodness! It slipped through the grasp of Tognetti. Gabriel Cazzola looking for that quick flip into the end zone. And as we often see in Ultimate, the short passes are the ones that go awry.
Yeah, quite a few passes there from Italy, and just at the final moment, Germany need to get up amongst their team here. The sideline is quite quiet here. Germany, center of the disc. Oh!
Big D. Reaction of the German player suggesting perhaps a foul call.
Schmidt cutting in and making that call there.
That's one of those tough ones where when the throw is clearly not what the thrower intended, it's moving behind the receiver, and contact has clearly occurred, and the question is, who initiated it, and what's the fair outcome of that impact? The throw really got caught by the wind. It was sitting up there. Joy, what did you think about that particular incident?
Yeah, interesting with the replay there.
Contested?
Contested is the call.
Back to where you were
finally,
when it was thrown.
Often with these
Stall count?
incidents involving contact, an argument in people's minds is all about the disc and touching the disc first, but I think what's important is the impetus, the ruling to avoid contact at all costs.
So what we've seen there, Joy, I think we would describe as a panic huck. The stall count was at 8 or 9, and the German player has released it as quickly as he can, and there's a bit of chippiness going on at the moment, and the Italians indicating to their sideline to
I called stall out.
Be quiet.
Then he talked to other guy, and then he called a foul. I didn't think it's in the rules, you guys. You throw it away. I called stall out. Already my teammate was grabbing the disc, then you talk to him, and then you called stall out.
I concentrated to my throw.
So first the stall out. Do you think it was a stall out?
No way.
So he's contesting the stall out, and then after the stall, you think it was a throw of a turnover. Is that correct?
What I have to say. Yeah.
But
I think it is contested.
Players here need to keep it cool.
Stalling 8.
Stalling 8.
Stalling. Contested.
I retract my call. Stall out. Turnover. No.
No, he's calling. Are you calling a foul as well, or not calling a foul?
Yes, I call it.
I think it's contested. It's contested. Are you calling a foul or just stall out?
Come on.
It's contested. It has to be coming back in on 6.
Dann musst du es da callen.
The guys,
War das beim letzten Wurf?
contested. Should come back in on 6. He's calling a foul.
Triple whistle there of the
What are you
game
coming in
advisor, just keeping things on track. Often the longer the time
He's
between.
calling a foul, so it will be 6.
I'm calling stall out.
He is calling a foul,
So Carlotta,
but a contested foul. The
unfortunately,
rule
at this
says
point,
6.
Carlotta, my bad,
C'è turnover.
probably needs to get his head back in the game as we see a stall 8 panic huck. And that is a fantastic grab. Kraus, to my eyes, seeming out of bounds, and
There's a stall out called, but you have to resolve this first. So, you think it was out?
yeah, Kraus
Okay.
with great spirit there, indicating that he landed out of bounds.
Out? Okay, so it's out. Is this uncontested? Contest or no contest?
Cala, è contestato o no lo stall out?
It's a turnover. It's a contest, so it's a turnover over there then. Okay, stop. We'll check it in, then we go. Turnover there, by the rules.
Thanks very much, Ruben. Just clarification on some of the rules and which order they should be observed. So we had a fantastic second effort grab there over here, but that player was out when secured the disc.
So, Tognetti. Simonazzi now with the disc. He's looked to the end zone. There's a pick call. Michael Farina was very, very open, and no arguments from him. There was a pick in the stack. So, Filippo Simonazzi with the disc. And this has been a thrilling contest. Unfortunate to see a little bit of disagreement here at the end, but here's Tobias Mine, faking hammers. He is looking for a dump. It sits up, but Tognetti's good enough to bring it down.
Germany here, absolutely scrambling.
Phenomenal push pass to get it over the second defender there. And he has just punted that. Oh my goodness, I think he's towed that in. And it's been called out by the Germans. 44 on the German teams, that's Martin Wahlberger, is calling it out. Wow, high drama here, Joy.
Absolutely.
Certainly, when it was caught, he had his toe down.
If you want, there's a camera you can look at.
So you're at home, you're lucky to see a replay straight away here. Oh,
And that looks,
What's the call?
that looks out from here.
Call is out.
Yep, correct decision. His
close
foot
to the
was
line
on the
here.
line.
Yeah, on the line, close, but here in Ultimate is out.
So they are allowed to refer to the camera there as long as it doesn't delay play. So that was well resolved.
Thanks, Ruben. And here we are still on this nail-biting universe point. Germany with the disc, moving upwind.
Germany to Charles. What can Germany do here? Oh, overfiring some of those. Too far.
Fantastic defense from Cazzola. Puts his body on the line to ensure that disc meets the grass. Tobias Mine with a very aggressive inside flick. And
Bit of a Hail Mary there with a bit of a hasty throw, I thought, to someone who perhaps didn't have a whole bunch of separation. A couple of players down, the big pack forming under that high disc.
yeah, Simonazzi's throw, I would not
Is there a
class
call?
as a particularly good decision.
There's a foul called.
There's a foul called in the end zone.
What's the call?
Foul.
And?
But I've no clear view of what.
No. I was standing and then I fall on the ground because he was there.
Okay. That's what you think. What do you think? You can ask your teammates if you would like help.
From my point of view, if it's okay if I tell my point of view, we were all under the disc. You two come from there. We were here. Johannes comes also
Okay,
from
so
behind.
that's the time limit. It should be treated as
I think
contested.
there was so much contact in the air. Everybody could get to
We've
the
got a
disc.
quick replay here.
That's the time limit. The rules say it should be treated as contested now. So disc should go back to the thrower. Contested. That's what the rules say.
In those
Everyone
situations,
should go back to
Joy,
where they were when the disc was thrown. Okay?
very difficult for the players to work out what happened. You've got multiple players from both teams in a pack situation. Difficult to know how that should be resolved.
Definitely, and I think, and from experience, the longer one discusses these things, the less clarity you get. So, as Ruben pointed out there, the discussion goes on for a certain amount of time. It's now treated under the rules as contested. Disc goes back here to Italy.
So Simonazzi would be hoping to make a better decision with the disc. He has got it in the hands of their key defensive handler, Tobias Mine. He's got Calarotta and Tognetti. Wow, those three can take a lot of credit for the incredible, brought down. Great grab by Vagliavello.
A layout grab there to secure that. Filippo Simonazzi. Wow, how safe are Mine's hands. Oh!
What a
Lars
day!
Schmidt, what a time to pull out the biggest layout block, perhaps of this tournament, that he's able to effect so far. That was full extension. He was behind his player, came through cleanly, I might add. And what a time to pull that out. And now we've got Krauser with the disc. Is that the Germany needed? They look a bit refreshed. They look like they're moving with a little more purpose.
The sideline's certainly in full voice now, Joy. They're full of heart. Can the Germans beat the Italians and the win?
Charles here, and there's Schmidt, who performed that block. Oh, IO flick attempt. The disc is sitting up. Who's got it?
Oh, fantastic contest. And yet again, great spirit shown by both teams here. There's been some tight contests after that chippy set of calls, and people are showing the maturity to accept when things haven't gone their way.
Definitely.
great
I agree
to
there. I agree there, Cole. Jan Schmidt perhaps received a tiny bit of a bump after that disc passed him by, but no foul call. We were able to see it again. So got his hand on it, received maybe a little, just a tiny bit of a bump, no call. So
both teams there exchanging a player. the Germans had an injury, and the Italians taking the opportunity to bring on a set of fresh legs of their own. And the Italians have the disc. Oh, it's down! Tognetti unable to hang on to the laser that was sent to him by Simonazzi. And the Germans again with a chance.
Slicing attempt there. Charles here. Goes around Mine. Where did he come from? Darted out of the stack. Was nowhere near that. And it somehow managed to dart out, get his hands on it, secure possession for Italy once again.
Frankly, I think the Italian game plan at this point should be for Tognetti and Mine to share the disc between them and just move it down the field together.
Mine so calm after that. He's able to pot around, accelerate. Mine again.
What a phenomenal player. He has just pumped it to the end zone. This could be the game, but no!
Charles there at the final moment. Hand on that trailing edge. Mina hopefully sent that to the end zone. Couple of Italian players. The disc hung there long enough for Charles to get his long arms up. And wow, he was almost reaching behind him, as you can see.
I didn't think it was possible to have a game as exciting as the Japanese-Canadian women's matchup that was on this field immediately preceding this game. And yet somehow the Italians and the Germans have managed to cook something similar as we see another layout block. This from Alberto Tonelli. No, we have a foul call on the throw by the looks of things. So Calarotta is on the mark. His responsibility is not to cause contact while the thrower is in the throwing motion.
I'm not sure if you could see the offense that Germany was setting then, but there was a vertical stack set up, an isolated cutter, and that athletic block there from the Italian defender. But here's where the discussion is taking place.
But even if you're moving, you have to be still already by the rules.
Yeah, so looking at the replay, certainly looks
You've
like
got
that's
foul.
a legitimate foul.
Are you contest or no contest? Contested. Still count? What's the still count? 5.
So
Discoming.
Calarotta, beg your pardon, Joy. Calarotta disagreeing that he'd committed a foul there. On the replay, looked to us like it was, but at high speed, it can be difficult to know what's going on.
Folleberger here. Late stages of this game, 14-all, Germany-Italy. Viewers tuning in late in the piece. Hello to everyone. You're here in the final stages of this exciting match. It's been a topsy-turvy game and Italy lately have come back from 14-11 down. And now, as you can see, 14-all. Schmidt here for Germany with the disc.
The wind temporarily dying down for a moment. The Germans, you'd think, should capitalize on that soon, and a foul called. Uncontested foul on the dump defense. Great spirit shown there
Uncontested foul.
by Filippo Simonazzi.
Nice work. Nice spirit there shown by the players. It's been a tense couple of points.
This game is now in its 128th minute. What an absolute behemoth of a contest.
Folleberger looking for his dump. Schmidt. This is Lars Schmidt to Hartmann. What a rock he's been for Germany. Krause. Hernerschmeier. Germany here, quite looking calm.
Yeah, war of attrition here. Joy.
Oh,
Oh, phenomenal! Tobias Mine read that early, got inside and was able to cut it off, but there's a foul called.
I was there way before you, and I think they know it.
You good?
we can see a replay of that. Here it does look like Mine had got to that inside space. There was a bit of contact, but
Yeah, well resolved there. I think they've come to the correct decision. Mine with an early read on that disc. And we have a stoppage, probably a pick in the stack.
let's have a super quick cross to Ruben and get his take on what happened there. And
Yeah, so the sideline German players said that there probably wasn't a foul call there, so the player was happy to accept that.
great, thanks Ruben.
Mine with one of the few mistakes he's made so far in this match, sending a Hail Mary downfield, which has been coughed up back to the Germans. And this
Kruster.
epic point continues.
Kruster Haschmann to Schmidt, to Hornschmeier here. Germany is looking for that key opening.
No contest.
Light fading here, bits of contact happening across the field. It's really nice to see a couple of slapped hands between opponents still going on. It's good, productive discussions. And that one resolved really quickly. So Hornschmeier here. Folleberg going up the line. Charles. To his brother Charles.
Mine is looking for every opportunity to poach a block here. He wants to win this game.
Oh, nicely done. Oh.
Yeah, so looks like a foul downfield, and the Italian player showing some concern for the welfare of his German opponent.
They all good? Okay.
So
Okay, all good?
just an unintentional clash of bodies there, and everybody happy to continue.
Germany just about 20 metres to work it in, but this space, the red zone in Ultimate, has proved
You
extremely...
guys happy?
0.
Joy, the longest point in Ultimate
Was an injury
occurred
call?
between Japan and
Or
Canada.
no call? No
at the
call.
World
Okay.
Championships 8 years ago, and I can't remember how long that point was, but I dare to suggest that
You happy?
this epic
Everybody happy?
might rival it.
Certainly getting up there.
So this is certainly the longest game that Ulti TV has ever had the joy of capturing on film, and what a joy it's been for us as spectators. I hope the players have enjoyed every minute of it.
Oh my word, Folleber trying for that round the mark break.
And another foul on the mark from Carlotta. A legitimate foul
That's a call.
call, seemingly. Yep,
Uncontested foul.
uncontested foul.
Coming in
Great
on one.
spirit.
One.
Nice work there from the defender. Spirited move. Carlotta. Folleber here. To Hornschmeier. Busy in front of the disc now, Germany. Looking for a clear option. Follemeyer. Schall working hard right in front of him. Folleber. Hornschmeier rotating through the same 3 or 4 players. These German handlers working super hard. Can't see the structure. Oh, it is that toe in. Is that it for Germany? It looks like it might be. That German player's toe was perhaps just a fraction inside the line. We can see Italian players lying flat on the ground. They must be absolutely shattered. The game clock's over 130 minutes.
There's a fair share of German players laying flat on the ground too, Joy. They are exhausted. What a phenomenal contest we've just seen. The opponents are hugging each other. They know what's just happened. This is an epic contest. It has been an absolute pleasure to watch. The Germans finally able to take the win, having looked like they had it in the bag some 40 minutes ago. The Italians nearly wresting it away from them, and the Germans have somehow found a way to get it done.
And by the closest of margins, the diving defender there and the eventual goal scorer for Germany, just in.
So, I could be wrong, but I think it was Marcel Hartmann, who we have been speaking about all game, who caught the game-winning goal. That is an absolutely phenomenal contest. What a day for Ultimate it has been. If you've enjoyed this contest, again, I implore you to check out the replay of the Canada-Japan women's matchup. This showcase field has been an absolute bounty as we see the tense moments among this game. Mine there for me. Despite being on the losing team, I would award him the man of the match.
Yeah, it's a Mine highlight reel here. This is just the last point of the match. Long one, but Mine getting up there again and again.
So This has been an absolute epic. There's Mine underneath the disc again. That's the one Kraus caught just out of field after that defensive effort from Mine. 31 minutes the last point lasted. Here's where a catch that nearly ended the game was correctly ruled to be out of bounds.
Just out there.
I can scarcely remember an epic that has lasted like this. This could be the longest point in recorded Ultimate history among one of the greatest games that we have seen at World Championship level.
There's a fantastic D there from Lashman. I can barely believe that was the same point. But
a fantastic leaping D from Gabriel Cazzola.
Mine popping out from nowhere. Another defensive effort there.
And here's that big pack crash situation. There were a number of fouls in this point, and there were a couple of moments where the discussions nearly got out of hand, but like the one we just saw in replay there, the players with the maturity to bring it back under control, they trusted each other to make the right call, do the right thing, and they were rewarded by being party to one of the greatest games of Ultimate that has happened in some time. And there it is, the decisive throw and catch to win the game for Germany. Joy, any final thoughts from you?
No, I think even though Italy haven't come up with a win here, they've just shown to themselves and to the rest of their power pool, they've got it. You know, this went right down to the wire. It's sad for them to not have that win, but they have what it takes. And if they hadn't let the deficit get out quite so far at the start of the match, who knows what might have happened. But such an exciting match here for both teams and for all the spectators and viewers.
Yeah, the Italian support staff clearly disappointed with the result, and you can't fault them for that. They have put everything into this campaign, and their team performed admirably today. And on this, in the dying light of this amazing day in Perth, Germany take the win, 15-14. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you again tomorrow at the World Under-24 Ultimate Championships in Perth, Western Australia.
Well done, guys. What a marathon.
That was
What a marathon.
insane. Nice goal.